Welcome to another edition of our StaySmart newsletter and podcast, brought to you by Viciniti Corporate Housing, where we try to keep you updated on what we see happening in the industry. It's a hot day here in Kansas City, nice and muggy today. So we'll go ahead and talk about the hot articles that we have in the industry this month. So it was kind of an interesting group of articles that we have because it was a little bit slow, but the first one is big news. Corporate Quarters USA announced that they had acquired Relevant Consulting, and with that, James Higgins will come on board and be their new president and CEO. So this is a really big news in the corporate housing industry. James has been in corporate housing for decades, really. He was with Oakwood and with Bridge Streets and been head of Relevant Consulting for the last several years. And so I think this was a big acquisition from Corporate Quarters USA. It's a company that's specialized in government, but also insurance and corporate client business. I think bringing on James, though, is going to fuel that expansion and the growth that they're looking for. So I think this is a great hire. I think James is going to be a great fit for them. So love to watch the growth with that. And then the second article is really interesting. This is from the apartment industry. A U.S. federal courts had ruled in favor of landlords who were suing the federal government because of eviction moratoriums back during COVID. So September of 2020, the government had put a moratorium on evictions that lasted about a year. So landlords sued, and now they've been ruled in their favor that they are due claims for the lost rents due to those, the moratorium on evictions. I think this is really interesting because, yes, I think those landlords are trying to recoup the rent that they lost, but I also think this is them wanting to set a precedent. So moving forward, the government won't be able to do these kind of moratoriums. I think this is really interesting. It would be something to watch. It does look like this case will probably be appealed and then eventually go to the U.S. Supreme Court. So we'll see where that goes moving forward. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future. And then really big in the short-term rental space, Airbnb had announced they're releasing their new services division and relaunching their experiences. Obviously, Airbnb is trying to expand beyond just accommodations, and so they're doing these experiences so you can add on additional tours, personal chefs, things like that. And they even have what they're calling Airbnb Originals, which is a premium service where they're going to partner with like Sabrina Carpenter and Patrick Mahomes for where they'll be hosting events. Obviously, I'm here in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, that's a really big deal. So it'll be interesting to see how this takes off. Several years ago, Airbnb had launched this, experiences, kind of travel agents, add-on feature, and it didn't take off. It wasn't a huge success. So it'll be interesting as they relaunch the services and experiences, how this will work. I'm a little skeptical on this. I don't think, obviously for growth, sometimes you need to look outside of your traditional core business function, but I think also you don't want to lose focus of what you do really well and continue to try to do that really well. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And then the last article we have is about the hotel industry bracing for a slowdown in the second half of 2025. There's a lot of uncertainty in the economy, and this article talks about how that's affecting the hotel industry and travel in general. And I think it's just people are pulling back a little bit or a little bit hesitant, looking for deals, really. That's what I think that they're talking about. I was just working on a summer vacation travel next month. And it is. Hotels are still pricey, so I think trying to find deals is what I think people are going to be looking for. So, good article about the second half of the year for the hotel industry. Those are the articles that we have this week. If there's anything you'd like to hear us talk about, please let us know. Either send me an email or just make a comment here. Happy to help. But that's what I see transitioning this week. Take care, everyone.